Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and good afternoon to all of the viewers. Um, Today, I want to introduce you to a lady, but before I introduce you to this wonderful lady, I just want to um, before I introduce you to our guest, I first want to give you an introduction to my company. My name is James January, and I am the director and business advisor of a company called Bluepeers. We specialize in business law and corporate governance, and our target market is developing small and medium-sized enterprises. We are mainly based in the Cape Winelands district. Please note, we are not a get-rich quick program, but we have a four-pillar program on how to establish a business. Bluepeers is situated in Worcester, and my office is managed by a lady called Surika Williams. Rolene Muller manage our real estate portfolio. We also have a debt collection department. Currently, I'm in partnership with a range of entities. The first one is um, with Yanda Martaela, a formidable lawyer, Olisa Makadisi from Makadisi Finances, and Simone Krieger from SK Graphic and Web Design Services. It would be unfair to omit my accounting partner, Mr. Luvo Mtetwa from NLT and Sons Investments. However, today is not about Bluepeers, but our guest speaker, the legendary Ms. Noluthando Sasekile. She is an astute businesswoman, Christian, mother, and wife. I will post a few questions to Ms. Sasekile on the road which she followed in establishing a business and what inspirational advice she can give to the young woman in business as we approach Women's Month. And good day, Ms. Sasekile. Thank you for availing yourself.
Good afternoon, James. Thank you for the invite to be part of this wonderful initiative. Thanks.
Ms. Sasekile, can you just give us a quick overview of your business and a background of yourself before we start and venture into the questions which we prepared for today?
Okay, my name is Noluthando. I was born in Noluthando Mjanyelwa from the Eastern Cape, from the village is called Ombe, from Sigisigi. I'm Noluthando Mjanyelwa. I got married to Mongeni Sasekile, then I became Mrs. Sasekile. I'm blessed with two children, a son and a daughter. I've got just a background in accounting. I'm working as an accountant. From the business perspective, I've got various business ventures, but I'm invited to give more of an overview on the vintage business side. I've got a vintage business that has been happening for already 5 years now. We are going from strength to strength. I'm ready to give you my insight of my business, and other than that, opportunities that are available for you to explore within the space.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sasekile. And this is much appreciated that you avail yourself so that you can share your experience with the young upcoming entrepreneurs. Mrs. Sasekile, our first question is as follows. How did you get your idea or come up with the concept of your business?
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm a 7A Adventist. I attend church on a Saturday. Just to give you a background of how this concept came about, people just, I used to attend church and people used to compliment the clothes that I wear. Then I saw that as a business opportunity because I could market this brand. When I was pregnant with my son 5 years ago, then I had more time with myself in terms of putting those ideas into table and see what I can do from this concept. That's how it started off. By the time I just recently moved to Parklands, I used to stay in Paro, so I bought a second property in Parklands. So financially, I also knew that it needed a financial boost, and this was the greatest opportunity available at hand. So I gave it a shot. This is where I am in 5 years' time.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, what was a just just a passing by type of business or idea, and then it turned into becoming your a business venture?
Sorry, what's the question, James?
No, I was just saying, I was just
Mhm.
concluding that uh, it was just a passion that you had for clothes, and then this passion becomes your business venture.
Exactly, James. I think it came from something that I loved. I loved looking up. I think I take it from my mother. My mother used to dress very well. She really encouraged us in terms of how we uphold ourselves. She even indicated that in image and how people interpret or how they view you, it's very important. So I think then growing up, I grew up in such an environment. So it, in a way, it had assisted me in terms of upholding myself in my adulthood. Then that's how people at work, even at church, they saw how I dressed, and they used to ask me, "Where do you get these clothes? Where you always look different?" And all of that. I think that's the biggest concept behind the vintage business. You don't dress like anybody else. You've got to dress off on your own. You're not gonna see the next person wearing the same thing. So that, I think that's how then people loved how I dressed, and then I grew up a concept from that inspiration.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sasekile. Mrs. Sasekile, what was your mission at the outset? And as a Christian woman, from where do you draw your strength?
Okay, the mission from outset, I've realized my business, it's 100%, the target is 100% women from different backgrounds. We don't have up market and low market kind of target. We're just targeting women. So I think then the concept, it has a religious link to it, because religiously the way you dress, it's actually highlighted in the Bible, because it defines your dignity as a woman. It defines a woman of integrity. It defines everything about you, how you dress. It's in fact, it's in reference to the Bible. So I think this concept was very close to me from the religious perspective as well, to see that I bring up a product that will actually bring a dignity into women. So that's how it came about this. So that's basically the inspiration behind it. The mission, it has both mission. In fact, to see women happy, because most of the time I see them, they how they dress, they send me their pictures and how they compliment it, and all of that, which means then it achieves from the biblical perspective of the from, or maybe if I can put it that way, from the religious background I have. But as well, it's a profitable kind of a business. It gives a certain benefit from the financial perspective. It benefits me. It's a business that is actually is in a good going concern. So I wanted to venture, and not only looking to one source of income, which is a salary. I wanted to explore more and explore other things that I can do on my own. I can generate my own income without actually going and ask for employment. So I wanted to test that perspective. And then the mission was more of the profitable side of things. So it is a profitable business, as well as it's a highly valued or highly seen kind of a business, and it's kind of a decent business.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sasekile, for that information. Now, I'm going to my next question. How do you advertise your business, and at the same time tell us what do you attribute to your success? What makes it to be a successful venture?
My business is basically 100% online. We do not have store, but we have a footprint across South Africa. We're in Eastern Cape. You'll find ourselves in Joburg, as well as KwaZulu-Natal and Cape Town. It's basically 100% online. What has happened, really, I owe the success of this business to my friends and my colleagues and my church members. I do not have what would say an advertising business, advertising budget. What has happened is that my friends have taken this brand to from strength to strength because they mainly supported me from. I can say about 80% of my clientele is from day one. So what has happened in terms of marketing this business? They normally see how my friends dress, and then they ask my friends, "How did you get this product?" So that's how then I actually acquired more clientele. I owe it to them, as well as my colleagues. They are 100% behind this success because, for example, the way I dress at work and they buy my products, and then how they dress. They also get clients from the churches where they attend, as well as from the business associates, from their own business associates. So this is how then I could say this is the strength when it comes to marketing. It's to build. I've managed to build good relationships when it comes to my friends. As a result, having such good friends and good colleagues, it has benefited me from the business perspective. I owe the success of it to them. That's how then, James, I advertise this business. It's basically my friends, my colleagues, and the church members. You know what? It's even interesting because now people when they talk about where I normally attend church, then they say, "Oh, that church where is Noluthando Vintage Business." Now even the church itself, it's known. It's known for vintage. So it is not only the local church now, it's across the Adventist community. That's how then this has become huge, James. It has become huge, but I think I just owe it to them. I cannot take anything from this other than saying I owe the success to those people that I've mentioned.
Thank you very much. So it's wonderful that the mode of marketing, word of mouth, and online house, it still has a value. Thank you very much for that information. Ms. Sasekile, what are your company's goals and what is unique about your business? Because in your area, there can also be a vintage business, right? So what makes you
Mm.
so unique? Yeah.
Okay, as you said, Mr. January, in fact, a business, I'm not the only owner of a vintage business in South Africa. It's everywhere across the world. It's not a very, 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 very scarce concept. But now, what makes me different from the rest? Number one, I value my clients, irrespective. As I've mentioned previously, my client database is it's upmarket, and I've got executives, I've got managers who are actually part of this clientele of mine, and as same applies, I've got cleaners, I've got people that are general workers. So the way I uphold myself of this business is also very important. So the success of this business or this brand, it's also relates to the way I make this business look like. I treat all my clients the same. There is no client that brings more money than the other one. So because you'll never know in terms of marketing the same person how which other hundreds that the person will bring. So I think that is different. I treat all my clients fairly, irrespective of the background. What also happens is just that my what is also given a success or accomplishment in this regard is just that when it comes to the repayment terms of the business, I'm open to negotiations. What have happened? What makes it stand out from the rest? I've noticed that the vintage business is a cash kind of a business. I've introduced the concept where you can also buy items from me which are on credit, which also has given me a great benefit. Because sometimes you sell clothes in the middle of the month and people have not paid, and you know how scarce they are. If you miss that opportunity in the middle of the month, you might not actually get that product again. So it's also you can also sell it in a period where everyone is not strong financially. So what has made it different is also that I have tapped into that. I've offered credit terms. Number two, the vintage business, the other strength that I've got is that vintage business, you get the product from the owner. They don't do deliveries, or if you have deliveries, you pay online. So what the concept that I've introduced now is just that to centralize certain clients, and in terms of reducing the cost of doing business, then I would know for a certain number of clients are staying in the same area, then I'll just post, if it's for example Eastern Cape, post one bag, and then they share postage costs, which also reduce the cost from their side. So what has made it also different is just that the pricing of our products, it's actually affordable in terms of pricing. It's which makes it more, especially during these trying times. We are faced with a pandemic like a COVID, which means when it comes to finances, people, they are committed in a lot of things, which now this business also can still allow you within your budget to actually dress decently and, you know, to uphold certain values. So that's another strength in this business. Yeah, that's basically in a nutshell, James.
Oh, that's wonderful. So key to your business is your service to your clientele, the type of service that you provide to them, and also to give them the opportunity to take on credit. That is wonderful to know, Mrs. Sasekile. Mrs. Sasekile, what are your responsibilities as the business owner? What is your responsibilities in this business as the business owner?
Okay, currently, James, is a one-man show. I'm responsible from negotiating with suppliers until the product gets to the client. So, but what has happened, I've realized that in terms of commitment, I do miss, because it's a one show, it's one of the things that I'm looking at. I do miss, you know, a certain deliverables because of other commitments other than, you know. So what I've realized now, maybe then it's an area where I need to improve in terms of getting an extra resource, in terms of making sure that products, because it's very important when my clients order products, it's either they deliver a certain event or it's something that's happening at work. So time is very important. You must make it available when it is needed. So which means now, if time is my shortage when it comes to that, then I need to acquire an extra resource to assist me with that. So I'm actually looking into things like that, and to just to strengthen the business from the deliverable side of things. That's it. I'm responsible for negotiating with suppliers. I'm responsible to handle complaints from the clients. You know, it's female business, so you know what happens. You need to make sure that you keep your clients happy. The best thing about female business is just they, unlike men, James, a man can live with two shoes per year. But a female, each and every event, they always want to look good. It's not only about it's not about the clothes, but it's also about they linked, what I've said, to image to themselves. So it's very important that I keep my female clients happy. So yeah, that's that. I'm responsible for all of that. I'm also open when it comes to complaints. If there are any complaints, I open a platform like that. That's how then you improve as a business. So I'm responsible currently of almost everything, but I'm looking into things of venturing into acquiring more resources into this business.
Wonderful. There are people out there, they think that they need all these departments before they can even start to work. Here you give them an indication that no, you don't need to do that. You can be on your own. You can be the marketing manager, finance manager. You can be all in one. So you don't need to go and acquire those skills per se in your business. But like you said, if time is not on your side, it can be a risk. Thank you very much for that information, Ms. Sasekile. Ms. Sasekile, does your company help the community where it is located? And what is your involvement in your community, church-wise and so forth?
Okay. Currently, James, in terms of social responsibility, we do not have soup kitchens and things like that, nice things like that. But in terms of from the financial social responsibility perspective, we have ventured into a lot of venture in terms of assisting. For example, we do have members at church that have assisted families that are currently unemployed in terms of providing financial assistance to them. I've also from where I come from, from the background that I come from, you not only yourself, but you come from a village. I've also, this business has actually provided me an opportunity to assist when it's needed where I come from the families, the neighbors, where it's needed. They sometimes call me and say, hey, we do not have this and this, or the child going back to school doesn't have uniform, it doesn't have shoes and things like that. So this is what we actually currently looking at in terms of actually direct assistance to our to our people where we come from. That they say charity begins at home. People that you worship with, people that you grew up with. So I'm really proud of myself when it comes to that. With the little that I have, I'm not making millions, but I've managed to able, or I've been able to make a change where I come from, or from my surroundings. Yeah, thanks, James.
Wonderful. That is wonderful to know, Ms. Sasekile. Have you ever turned down a client because some people, they don't know how to deal with difficult clients. So I would like you to answer that one because maybe the people who's listening in, they can learn. There's learnings from maybe turn down a client.
Yes, James, I have turned down the client. I've turned down a client. As I've mentioned to you, James, that the clientele is very versatile. It's different people from the different background. There are clients that wanted to be treated, in a certain level, upper than the rest. What I've just mentioned that it's a 100% online business. So we have a chat group where you've got a client engagement and all of that. There was one time a client that was not happy with the fact my type of business is just that if you get one item, you won't get it anywhere else. So the client I think, was very resourced and wanted to be treated differently. I felt then that client, if she's not happy with my current settings, because I have to treat all my clients equally. It's a first time, first basis. So if you get it first time, first basis kind of business, if, for example, a certain person has already acquired that product, irrespective of the background or what that person, whether it's well resources or not, the product belongs to that client. And it has been, it actually, I've noticed that it makes all my clientele happy. That's what we agreed on. So I couldn't compromise 90% of my, or 95, 97% of my clientele for just one client. So I've managed to talk to the client and see, and explain to her this is a business concept, and she was not happy with that. So I said, okay, maybe it's where we were supposed to end things. But the 6 months down the line, the client was in contact, and we are busy talking with the client, so that's just to try and find out a good foundation to be back into business. But it's very important that she understands where I'm coming from. So yeah, I know there was a certain extent of income that I would lose, but I was not ready to compromise on my business ethics, and integrity.
That's a strength to have, to be able to assess where the clientele will be able to going forward, if you're going to lose that client or if you're able to regain that client. So it's actually a strength from your side as the owner of this business, because you need to make assessment in risky situation. Ms. Sasekile, we almost at the end of our session. The last one, which I would like you to answer, we're approaching Women's Month, and just for the youngsters out there who wants to venture into their own business, do you have any advice for those youngsters, especially the ladies?
Okay. You know what I can also say, James, it's just that we live in a difficult times. It's very important not to put all your eggs in one basket. You know, if you look at the current COVID-19 pandemic, people are losing jobs, people are losing their houses, people are losing their cars, and it makes you think deeper that you should in fact not focus on one source of income. So even over and above that, without even COVID, that is also important because one source of income sometimes is not is enough because of the standard of living in nowadays. It's actually expensive to live during this time than 20 years back. So it's important. But people, when you talk about business, they very especially the young ones, they think you must have millions and millions for you to venture into a business. What other strength that the business, when you venture into business, it's just that you give 110% for something that is your brainchild, something for the concept that it's on your own. You don't have 9 to 5 kind of situation. You work anytime. If there's a client that you need to service at 11 o'clock, if it's something that is on your own, it has that push to even improve from one strength to another strength. That's another benefit of running your own thing. You can start small. You don't have to, to start big. You don't have to have millions. There are a lot of opportunities out there. But all I can advise, it has to be something that you like, something that you're passionate about so that you can give that 110%. More especially the youth, I was actually conversing with my friends. I said, I think it was on Friday. I said, what do you think it's something that our kids will actually blame us for? You know what? Our kids would blame us for not even taking the opportunities that were available at this point in time. When this democracy, me and you, James, was a bit young, there were opportunities that would explode. But because of the fear that paralyzed us, the fear of failure, we didn't explore those opportunities. But all I can say, it's never too late. You're never too old to start something that you build on your own. So it's also important that we grab even opportunities that are available down the line. Because those opportunities that we miss today, it will be a business that is worth billions in future. So you just need to have that strength to start, start a little, communicate with your friends, communicate with the community so that you understand what is it that is different, that you can come up with the concept. You can even start your farm only by starting with only 2 chicken, then it grows into a farm. So you start a little. It's very important. It's a concept of saving as well is important. You need to save from your income, because you start looking at business where you can start off from your income, because your income also, there's no interest, there's nothing there. When it comes to someone who's funding your business, which means also that person must have a return. But if it's a business that is lucrative, you need to go for it. Even so, if over and above that, it will give you greater returns. So I think even if you look at the current economic situation in the country, we've got an economy that is not actually driving much of in terms of creating job opportunities, unless the government then focus on the biggest concepts currently. They're talking about industrialization, But what you can do is to create your own employment, not to go and submit a CV, We need to move from our thinking. Our thinking currently, you need to have a good degree so that you stand a better chance in terms of being employed. But we are not, in our DNA, we do not have a concept whereby when I finish my education, I want to start a business so that I can employ other people. We want Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg to the likes of them to employ us. But what about starting our own things that we employ our youth and we'll be able to grow the economy of this country? I think that's what the drive we need to look at currently. So I'll just encourage anyone out there. You don't have to have a lot of money. You can start small to grow from strength to strength.
Well, that was quite a mouthful. Thank you very much, Ms. Sasekile, for making yourself available for today and to inspire the young people to obtain a degree, you say, but don't obtain a degree only to be employed, but to create employment. So in conclusion, we want to thank you, Mrs. Sasekile, for making yourself available today and for sharing your ups and downs and for sharing your experience with the viewers. And you know, we know that it is very tough to start your own business, but it's also a big deal because it shows that you have the courage to start. And like you said, we've lost a lot of years. And like you also mentioned, it's not within our DNA just to start a business because we are afraid to take that risk. So, in conclusion, let's follow Mrs. Sasekile's simple methods. Firstly, you need to be you need to value your clients. That is number one. And then you have to have a relationship with your clients also, and that you need to treat everybody the same. I want to thank you, Mrs. Sasekile, for making time for this interview.
Thank you, James. Thank you for the invite.
Have a great evening and stay safe.
Thank you.